morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2014. Here's an interesting story. Apparently the state of Illinois has promised Arthur J. Gallagher more than $20 million in incentives to keep their headquarters in Illinois. Arthur J. Gallagher's headquarters are currently in Itasca, Illinois, but it is now, as a result apparently of this incentive-based promise from the state of Illinois, going to move to Rolling Meadows, another Chicago suburb. Last time I checked, the state of Illinois was experiencing some financial distress, but good for Arthur J. Gallagher. Meanwhile, the Malaysian jetliner, the 777-200 that went down on Friday, is still missing. The Malaysians are saying it's an unprecedented aviation mystery. 239 people were aboard the plane. Apparently now 7 countries, including the United States, are helping to search for the ship. The National Transportation Safety Board from the U.S. and representatives from Boeing are now on site in Kuala Lumpur. The plane was exactly the same as the AJG plane that crashed in San Francisco. The 777-200 is in wide use throughout the world. There are some theories that the plane may have been noticed on radar to be turning back. It was cruising at 35,000 feet. What's of course also been released is that there were no fewer than 4 people on the plane traveling under stolen passports. This is going to be a very difficult situation to unravel. There is no doubt, however, that they will find the black box. That plane will be found. If the Air France plane, which crashed in the middle of the South Atlantic several years ago, was able to be retrieved, this one will be retrieved. Meanwhile, in the world of insurance, it seems that the plane had an insured hull value of just about $100 million. Allianz was the lead insurer on the cover. Willis had brokered the policy covering both hull and liability. Any liability claims arising from the Malaysian Airlines jet's disappearance are likely to be relatively modest, as 2/3 of the passengers and 12 crew on board were Chinese. Liability losses for passenger fatalities typically escalate depending upon the number of Westerners killed, especially U.S. citizens. Under the Montreal Convention governing compensation for victims of air disasters, liability losses for passengers are capped at $75,000 each unless negligence on the part of the airline is proven as a contributing factor. That, of course, is the role of the U.S. Trial Bar Association. The cost of airline cover fell by about 20% in the key fourth quarter renewals. Malaysia Airlines renewed in December with a fleet value of about $8.6 billion. There was a powerful 6.9 earthquake about 17 miles off the coast of California last night. Struck at about 10:20 p.m. Local time. It was felt in Eureka, California. Pretty much a long, rolling, thunderous kind of movement. There were no damage or injuries, nor was there a tsunami warning. Meanwhile, in the Florida Keys, now before there was a 4th aftershock from the big Cuban quake that occurred 2 months ago. Yesterday's aftershock was a 4.7 magnitude quake, struck a little bit north of Cuba, and it was felt in the central Florida Keys, but no reports of any damage or injuries there. Meanwhile, Aon Benfield is reporting that the fierce winter in the United States has thus far caused about $5 billion in damages. This is to the nation's homes, businesses, infrastructure, and agriculture. And it's going to rise because this does not include travel and transportation losses or other business disruption. This likely, according to Aon Benfield, is going to run into the billions of dollars. Lost flights alone have already caused airlines, airports, and passengers an estimated $5.8 billion in losses. While the $5 billion total is above the recent 10-year average and the highest since 2010, it doesn't rank as the costliest on record. In modern times, 1993 remains the standard. That came in at about $9 billion in damage alone, and that was the year that the so-called storm of the century occurred, which of course has been popularized by the movie with George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg. Well, there's no doubts about this election in North Korea. No hanging Chad, no punch cards not thoroughly punched through. It seems that Kim Jong-un has been elected to become the country's leader with not one single vote being cast against him. That's really unbelievable. He received 100% approval from his own constituency, and according to the North Korean news agency, that reflects the absolute support of people for Mr. Kim Jong-un. It's also noticed that his younger sister, who is thought to be 26 years old, has made her first official appearance in state media. She's now been identified by name and the honorific as comrade, and apparently is on the verge of assuming a official government post there. Each of the 687 districts had only one candidate running for office, with voters required to write either yes or no on the paper ballot. 100% of them said yes. Well, I'll tell you. That's all the news for today. If we have any breaking news or if the Malaysian airliner is found, we'll come back and report it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.